Hey friends, Mark here, your mitochondria mechanic, and today I want to do a little bit of a different dive into what exactly is CIRS. So for those of you who have been watching, you've probably learned or have read about CIRS being chronic inflammatory response syndrome, and that it is this condition dealing with chronic inflammation of the innate immune system. But some of the new research in CIRS is delving more into the mitochondrial effect that this illness has on us. More specifically, how ATP production is dramatically reduced in this particular illness. So if we bring you back to high school biology, where you were taught that the mitochondria are the power plants of the cell, when we eat food, part of that's going to be digested and become glucose. That's going to go from our gut and be brought into our bloodstream. It's our blood sugar. And from our blood, that's going to then be brought into our cell. Once the glucose is in our cell, it goes through a really simple chemical reaction called glycolysis. While it goes through glycolysis, you get a molecule called pyruvate, and pyruvate is actually what goes into the mitochondria to go through the Krebs or the citric acid cycle, and that's what then gives you all of this ATP. ATP being the energy that you and I and everyone run on. In CIRS, there is a biotoxin, so a mold or an actinobacteria or an endotoxin that's sitting in the door called a voltage-dependent anion channel of your mitochondria. And that biotoxin blocks that pyruvate molecule from being able to enter. So what happens is the cell is not able to actually get pyruvate into the mitochondria. It can't put it through the Krebs and the citric acid cycle, and so we're relying on the process of glycolysis for energy production. And when we rely on glycolysis alone, we're only getting about 2 to 4 molecules of ATP, versus when we're using the citric acid cycle, we're usually getting about 34 to 36 molecules of ATP. So this dearth of ATP is where all of that fatigue is coming from. And that is what is going on inside your mitochondria if you're dealing with CIRS.